What if your entire financial future came down to just 3 numbers? You see, the difference between retiring early and working forever is not about complex strategies. It's about just 3 numbers. And the problem is most people never track these numbers. And today I'm going to be showing you what these 3 numbers are, how to calculate them, and I'll show you how to use them to actually change your finances for the better. Because once you know these things and you track them, everything changes. I found some very interesting stats. 74% of the UK defined contribution pension savers that they are not on track to achieve a reasonable standard of living in retirement. That's shocking. 74%. And based on this new Bankrate survey, 57% of American workers feel they are behind on their retirement savings. This is a widespread problem. But these numbers cut through all the noise and complexity when it comes to planning, looking at what's most important. Remember the 80-20 rule, right? So if you master these numbers, you are actually mastering your financial future. But if you ignore them, you might find yourself walking well into your 70s and even beyond, which I don't think anybody wants, right? The first crucial number is your burn rate. This is the total amount that you spend every month. Everything from your mortgage to the coffee that you buy on your way to work. Your burn rate is actually the foundation of your entire financial life. It's the first layer, it's the base. Yet, I've spoken to a lot of people that have no idea what their burn rate is. Your burn rate is actually divided into 2 categories. The first are your essential expenses. I call them your bare bones. These are the things that you absolutely need to survive. Your housing costs, your food, utilities, loan payments. These things are very essential. You have to pay them. While the second will be looked at non-essentials or ones like entertainment, dining, your Netflix, that kind of stuff. But when you add up these 2 pieces, it gives you your total burn rate. And this number is very crucial because it influences how much you need to retire and how quickly you can get there. The goal is to reduce your burn rate or for it to remain the same while your income goes up, or for it to grow, but at a much slower rate compared to your income. Once you know your burn rate, you can actually calculate the second critical number, which is your retirement number. This number is the exact number that you need before you can actually quit your job or you are working actively for money. And the calculation is very simple thanks to something that is called the 4% rule. Now, I've done a video showing what is enough. I'll link that in the description, which dives in a lot deeper into this 4% rule for you to be able to know or be able to answer that question, what is enough, which is what this second number is trying to achieve. But let's make it very simple, right? The 4% rule, financial experts believe that if you have a portfolio and you withdraw 4% each year, that portfolio would not run out of money, right? So that is the whole basis of the 4% rule. So to find your retirement number, all you just need to do is to multiply your annual expenses by 25, not your annual income, but your annual expenses, your burn rate. You multiply that by 25. Let's say Joe and Sarah, 2 friends, they both earn £50,000 after taxes. That's what hit their account, right? Joe's burn rate is about £3,300, which comes up to £40,000 a year. Using this formula, if Joe's retirement number would be 40 multiplied by 25, which is 1 million. Sarah, on the other hand, is intentional with her spending and her burn rate is 2,550 monthly or 30,000. That means our retirement number multiplied by 25 is £765,000. Now, the 2 of them are both earning the same amount. The same amount hits their account, but one person has a lower retirement number, 235,000 lower because of their burn rate. But wait, it gets even shocking when you look at the third number. The third and the most powerful number is actually your savings rate. This is the percentage of your income that you are able to save and invest. This is where most people actually miss the mark. A lot of people, it's easier for them to calculate, oh, this is my burn rate, right? And if you know your burn rate, just multiply that by 25, and then you have a big number that you are aiming for, right? And a lot of people will get that shock, and either they're, oh, okay, I'm right on track, or like, I'm nowhere close. I can never reach this amount, right? But what is going to determine how quick, if you're even ever going to reach there, is actually this third number, your savings rate. So let's look at Joe and Sarah again, right? Joe's burn rate is 40,000, meaning he can only save 10,000 pounds per year, which is a 20% savings rate. And that's not bad. And assuming an 8% annual investment return, it's going to take about 28 years for him to reach his retirement number. On the other hand, with our 30K burn rate, right, saves around 19,000, which is around 39 savings rate, the same 8% return, and she will reach her investment retirement number in 18 years. That's 10 years sooner than Joe with the exact same income. This is not just math, right? Retiring in your 70s for a lot of people. This is the difference between extra decades of work, all because of these three simple numbers. Here's where it gets interesting, right? Every pound that you reduce from your burn rate actually plays two roles. First, it directly lowers your retirement number, right? Every £100 reduction means £30,000 less for your retirement. Secondly, it automatically increases your savings rate. That means the same £100 would add 1,000 to be invested yearly. And that's very powerful. You're not just reducing your burn rate, you are also increasing your retirement. So how do you track and improve these three numbers? First, you need to know your current burn rate. And the way to do that, track your expense, every expense for 30 days, everything, coffee, subscription, check your bank statement, right? Don't rush this process. Just do it gradually. And don't judge yourself either. Gather all this data and use that to make informed decision. With this, you'll be able to calculate your burn rate. And once you've gotten that, you multiply that number, the annual expense, by 25. That gives you a target. It might not be accurate. Things might change as you become better, but at least it gives you something to aim toward. And finally, that would also determine your savings rate, right? And we discussed this a lot more in our previous video, which I would also link. But then this is where optimization comes into play. There are two things that you can do to improve these numbers. First is to reduce your burn rate, obvious, right? But this doesn't mean that you would live like a monk. First tip would be to focus on the big three expenses that I've mentioned before, because a lot of times they consume the lion's share of our expenses, of our budget. Housing, can you downsize? Can you move from a 3 to a 2-bedroom? Or can you get a roommate that would share the expenses with you? I love what my friend does. Very smart guy, right? He rents like a 4-bedroom every time. And the moment he gets in, he gets like a roommate, he gets someone. So can you do something like that? Or can you just outrightly downsize to a smaller place, to another neighborhood that's a lot cheaper? That's housing. For transportation, if you're making car payments, do you really need it? If you have more than one car, do you really need that? For food, reduce how much you spend on takeout and restaurants and all of that. These actually make the biggest difference. Now, the second part to this is actually to increase your income. It gets to a point there is nothing to optimize anymore. The only option is to increase your income, right? Ask for a raise, change jobs, start a side hustle that will earn you an income, and then that extra cash goes directly to your investment, to your retirement investment fund and all of that. These three numbers is not just about money. The real deal here is about reclaiming your time and your freedom. And that's what these numbers aim for if you do it right. Every pound that you save is actually buying a future for you, is buying your freedom. Money is not the goal. Money is just a tool to help you achieve something. And that thing, if it's peace of mind, if it's freedom, is actually priceless. So please calculate your burn rate, track your expenses for 30 days, like I said. Look at your bank statement. Find or calculate your retirement number by multiplying that burn rate, the annual amount of that burn rate by 25. And then determine your savings rate and commit to increasing that savings rate by 1%. Identify 3 specific ways to reduce your burn rate this month and find at least one way to increase your income in the next 90 days. Remember, small improvements compound dramatically over time. In the description, I'm going to be linking a free calculator to calculate your freedom timeline, right? To calculate your retirement. It's going to be in the description. Download it and play with it. If you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a comment in the description and like this video. I read every comment. I respond to every comment. Until next time, keep